Hello and welcome to Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where everything always goes as planned. Season 2, I guess, unofficially. I'm Jay, your host, back here with Rosmondo. Ryan, how you been?
I've been good. Been pretty busy.
Good. Yeah, we've both been busy, so we're back at it, though. Glad to be back with everybody and hope to continue to build on what we've done here over the last year or so. Ryan, how about that World Cup?
Yeah, it was something. I don't think I've ever seen a final of the World Cup which is billed as one guy versus another guy, and actually the game turned out like that. It was Mbappe versus Messi. I mean, I
Yeah.
just think that was it was something to watch. It's probably the best World Cup final I've ever seen. How about you? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I would have to agree. Possibly the best game I've probably ever seen. I might say, all around.
Yeah, won't go so far as game, but being at the World Cup final, yeah, for that kind of game, a massive, absolutely massive. And
Yeah,
I think probably not the unspoken man of the match was a goalie for Argentina. He was something
yeah,
else, including his celebrations afterwards with the trophy. That was something.
yeah, yeah. What would you say was your favorite moment of the World Cup? Obviously, there was a lot of crazy different things because of being in the winter, all those kind of things that were different. What would you say your favorite memory was? Would it be the final?
The final was something. I thought it was fascinating. This is probably random, but fascinating watching Canada at the World Cup for the
Yeah,
first time in a while. And for about 15 minutes there in that game, I think it was Croatia they played and they scored. It might have been Croatia. They were just phenomenal. And then all of a sudden, the house came falling down, and there was a realization that they were just a bit too gung ho for that level. It's a bit of a
yeah.
different level than in qualifying. And then the England USA game was just a fascinating game. I thought I really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah. I would have to say the final was amazing, and I'll probably never forget that. But I also have to say this World Cup, got a lot of flack because of the schedule change and being in the
Yeah,
winter and all the other things behind the scenes. But I also had a couple, I think, really great experiences. We had a watch party here at
yeah,
our field house for the U.S. England game. So, the boys' high school team, the girls' team, some kids in the community and families all got together. And, something like the World Cup, obviously, it doesn't come around very often. And
yeah.
that was pretty cool, doing something like that doesn't happen very often. And then um, our club team happened to be at a showcase, and we were out of town for the U.S. Netherlands game. So that was pretty cool because we all got together in the morning, all the families and everyone watched that together. So, those kind of things are things you remember for a long time. So that was pretty cool.
I will say I don't think I've been in the US now for a long time, 20 plus years, and seen a lot of World Cups from the US. And I don't think I've seen a World Cup captivate the attention of the public in the US since '94. I mean, I thought it was
Yeah.
just everybody was tuned in. Kids, people who don't even watch the game were tuned in. And then by
Do you think?
extension, we got a little bit of a bonus on that with the Greg Berhalter, Gio Reyna family saga, which just materialized the last few weeks. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we could do a series of podcasts probably just on that topic, but I'll just say it's unbelievable. I think we would both agree, pretty unbelievable stuff to hear what we've heard already at that level. I think it's safe to say that U.S. soccer at the highest levels, could use a hard reboot in terms of just my opinion. A lot of the people that are in the
Yeah,
front offices and in important high places, there just seems to be way too many close connections, things like that. But I guess on the positive, at least it happened right now, and there's a long time until the next World Cup, which will obviously be here. And a lot of things need sorted out. That's all I'll say.
yeah. I want to touch that topic. That's such a good. So I started bringing it up. But you're just fresh off the back of attending the U.S. Soccer Convention. I know you went there. I didn't go this year, but you were there. Any feedback from the convention this year? I know it's post COVID, but was it the numbers high or low in terms of attendance, and any cool things that you saw there?
Yeah, I would say it was in Philly this year. It was a great place to have it. I would say, unofficially, I don't know what the numbers were, but I've been to many of those in the past, and it seemed like it was back to normal, in terms of the, attendance and those kind of things. To me, it's always a great, I like those things, educational resources, things like that. There's a podcast road now just to show how popular these kind of things are becoming. So there's a lot of different groups there that you can network with and meet some different people. It's just a great event. I love going to it. I know you've been to it in the past. Went to the Black Sheep Pub right here. So shout out to the Black Sheep Pub to watch the United City game, which was a great experience too, if you're ever in Philly. But it was just great weekend, meeting some different people. And also, actually met the person we're going to interview today. It was a great interview for everyone. He's a very unique perspective, very unique community and what he's doing for soccer. So we can't wait to share that with everyone. But yeah, it was good. It's a great experience.
Excellent. So what are you up to these days? This time of year, you're not in your high school season, so you're not coaching high school right now, but are you doing postseason work or anything like that?
Well, on the high school scene, we are just back to the second semester. So we're starting our winter workouts, which is just basically like speed and agility and some strength training stuff a couple times a week. A lot of the kids are playing club and things like that. So they're involved with that, also starting up here. Myself, I have one club team, indoor game once a week, something like that, or an indoor session.
Yeah.
And then just gearing up for the spring, probably like you and a lot of other people. Gearing up for the spring season here. It'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, I'm working with our Highlanders U19 group. We've got about 22 guys, all based here in Wheeling, and it's good. We've been doing some good sessions. Actually, because of my rule is if the weather's above freezing, then we can go outside. No holds barred. So we've been outside on Tuesday night. We'll probably go out again tomorrow. Just really good to get these guys working through the winter. We've got some scrimmages and some showcase events lined up, so that'll keep us going all the way through April, and then in May, obviously, we start our new OVPL seasons. Third season for us, second season for us straight from the training ground, but it'll be our third season, so we're looking forward to that. Right now, I've just been working on the commercial side of that, mainly just working with sponsors, trying to get them lined up, trying to get them on board, see what we have to offer, and then soon on the 3rd of February. We have our tryout for our adult men's team for the summer. That'll be our first chance to look at some new talent. We'll probably be replenishing a little bit of the roster from last year as we did the year before. So, yeah, exciting times.
And now that you say that, OVPL was at the convention this year. They had a booth set up. Got a lot of good publicity there. Brandon was there. Shout out to Brandon and all the people affiliated with OVPL. But, it's continuing to grow. And talking to him, it's headed in the right direction. So I'm sure we'll get more into that here throughout the spring and summer. But with all that being said, Ryan, I think we'll head now to our interview. We're very glad to have someone who has a very unique perspective. He's a high school English teacher and the boys' head soccer coach. And I bumped into him at the convention this year. So we're glad to bring you that. Hope everyone enjoys it. And we're glad to be back. Mark Lange, glad to have you with us. Tell everybody a little bit about your unique story and why you're here with us today.
My name is Mark Lange, and I'm a Department of Defense dependent schools teacher. I've worked for the DoD for 21 years. I've been a high school teacher for 36. I'm stationed overseas on a Marine Corps Air Station in Iwakuni, Japan. We're about 45 minutes from Hiroshima, and I coach soccer at the school. I've coached as a high school head coach for 30 years. So a lot of people don't know that we have military members overseas and their kids are there too. And they need teachers, and we try to give them an opportunity to have an American high school experience is what we try to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is your background in soccer? How did you, obviously it's a very unique situation. How did you end up there?
So my background in soccer is I played high school soccer in the Tampa Bay area when they first had soccer in 1981. I ended up coaching kids, youth, under 14. I had a team all the way through the under 19s. I was a high school coach in the Tampa Bay area for 13 years. I was a Fulbright scholar to Japan. That's where I kind of got my interest in Japan. I was a sister city teacher to the city of Nagano before the Winter Olympics. And I met this beautiful Japanese lady there. And so we've been married for, oh my gosh, I guess it's almost 28 years now. And I was an international school teacher. In terms of soccer, I coached at the Clearwater Chargers in Florida, a couple Tampa Bay clubs. We won a state championship there at the under 15 level, and I had another one at the under 19 level. And then I had heard about this opportunity to teach overseas. And I love Japan. And so I applied and almost didn't take the job.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because I got back to I was on leave of absence from my old school. And they pulled some strings to get me back. I was going to be the cheer coach because they had a guy to replace me for soccer, and he was still there. But then I had this opportunity, and I took the opportunity. So I came to this military base. I've never been involved with the military before. I've had to learn a lot of acronyms, and I've had to learn how to survive here. And so the first time I came here, I coached girls. I'd never coached girls in my life before. It was a very unique and different experience. I think we won one game all season, and we loved it. I think it was a forfeit too, and we were so happy that we won a game. It was great. It was a very memorable time. The girls went out of their way to embarrass me as many times as possible, and so I blushed a lot. But it was great. And then and then I coached boys here, and we were literally the cones that every other team ran around. I have perfected every losing speech ever known to man. And I actually called the boys together in 2007, said, look, I think it's me. It must be me. I've taught you everything I know. We don't have any success. So I think you should find somebody else. So I went home and told my wife that. And she got in my face. She said, you're not doing that. She goes, those kids depend on you. You're going to go back tomorrow and you're going to unquit. So I did. And because I like being married. So that's kind of a good thing. Yeah. And then from that point on, we had a really good run. We won 6 out of 7 state championships at our school. We're just a small school in this area. We have on mainland Japan, we have 6 Dodiya high schools. So we have 6 schools. We have 3 in the Tokyo area, 1 in Misawa Air Force Base, which is, it's a flight from here. Yeah. And then we have a base, Navy base south of us. It's a 5-hour drive. When we go to play in Tokyo, it's a 12-hour bus ride. Each way with kids. So it's kind of like a college coach, taking kids on a trip somewhere. And, we get on a bus at midnight on Friday morning. We drive all day. We have something to eat. We play a match, sleep on the gym, play 2 matches the next day, and come back and do it all, come back on the bus. And then we're in school Monday morning, ready to go. So it's a very unique experience. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. And now when is your season over there?
We will begin our spring season February 11th. So we have to have 10 days of practice before we can actually play. And then we have a tournament that we host. It's called the Perry Cup. We've been really affected by COVID for a while because we weren't able to, host teams and all those kind of things. But during the whole COVID thing, we did really well here. We only had one day where our schools were closed. Kids wore masks. Yeah. We did all those things. We had to do for soccer. The first time we had COVID, we didn't have a season. So what I did is I just simply organized an intramural. We put the girls and the boys together. And we had an intramural season. So the kids had something to do. And then the next year, what we did is we were allowed to travel to the military base in Sasebo 5 hours. We left on Saturday morning. We weren't allowed to stay overnight. We left Saturday morning at like 2:00 in the morning, drove down there 5 hours. Boys and girls would each play 2 matches, and then we drove back, got in maybe 11 or 12 o'clock at night. So it was kind of crazy. But
wow. Yeah.
We're kind of back to normal now a little bit. That's nice.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I was going to ask you, obviously, you've already kind of alluded to some of the challenges you face, I guess, logistically. Right. What are some other things out there, obviously, for people that aren't very familiar with that region and how high school soccer may work? Are there a lot of other challenges you face? Are there similarities that people here could relate to?
There's, it's like coaching regular high school soccer, but, if you're teaching in the Tampa area, you'll have a freshman and you'll have a freshman for 4 years because they live in their zone for the school, or it's a magnet school and they go to the school, and you'll have that kid for those times. Here, we don't have that. Military families come and go. They get stationed every 3 years. I have a kid in my class who's been in nine different schools, and he's a senior now. Okay. And he's been in
Wow.
5 high schools, 3 high schools. And this is his 4th high school while he's been in high school. So yeah, we have kids come and go all the time. And so you have to kind of build a brand. And if you can build a brand and get kids to believe in what you're doing, they look forward to, coming and playing for you. And it's really important that kids have some steadiness, because in their lives, for military kids, they move all the time. They're moving all the time. We do have some contractors' kids who come to the school here as well. And so their parents might be with Boeing and they're fixing engines and they're stationed and they're here for a couple of years. And then we have teachers' kids that come to the school as well. Both my boys played soccer for me at this school. And so it's been a good ride, but those are some of the challenges I face.
Yeah, I mean that's just unbelievable. And now, are all those schools that you mentioned that are 5 hours away, 12 hours away, do those make up your conference, or do you have a conference or a league?
So
or?
we're the Pacific East District, and so those 6 schools are in our Pacific East District. But then what happens is we actually have a Class A and a Class 2A, and so the larger schools are in the Class A. There are not many of them. I think there are 4 of them. So when I say larger, the school has about 700 kids. There are 2 military bases on Okinawa, and those military bases have probably 800 kids, 150, 800 kids. So they get together, they play their own state championship is what they do. And then the first, we are state championship. We have 3 schools in Korea that come and join us, and then the schools from Okinawa, and then we have international schools that come and join us as well. Plus, our school is part of the Western Japan Athletic Association, and we're part of international schools. So from Kobe, about Sanrio Osaka, and then there's Kyoto, and there's a team from Nagoya. And so we play an international school tournament as well. So our kids we stay pretty busy.
Yeah, wow, that sounds like it. That's tremendous. And just, for everyone out there that happens to be watching this, this is just a great example of networking. We were both just happened to be at the same session during the coaches convention, and I bumped into Mark, and he was telling me a story, and I said, man, we got to sit down and talk. And it's just amazing to see what's out there in the rest of the world and other communities. It's great to have you on here. People like you out there doing everything you can in various communities to help kids with a beautiful game. And, that's what we're all about. So it was really fantastic just bumping into you and networking.
Yeah, and then it's through the United Soccer Coaches. It's been a fabulous thing. In 2014, I contacted United Soccer Coaches and I said, I've got these kids here and I'd like to nominate them for some things. And at first they're like, well, they didn't even really know about overseas military schools, And then I said, well, let me show you what my kids have done. So we have a military newspaper. It's called the Stars and Stripes. And once I started sending them stuff about kids, it was amazing. At my school, I think we've won 7 straight team academic awards. We've had 3 full All-Americans at this school, and we've had 7 scholar All-Americans at this school. And so we're just a little tiny overseas base, but we want to get our kids recognized. And that's what we're trying to do here. That's what's really important. The United Soccer Coaches has just opened up an overseas region. And so we're getting the military schools together. We're going to have an overseas region to give our kids some recognition. And they deserve it, too. It's not their fault that their parents are stationed overseas. And so here we are. So we're trying to help
absolutely. Yeah, and I appreciate, for what it's worth, for what you're doing for kids. Like you said, they deserve recognition just like everybody else.
Right.
It's great from our coaching organization that, like you said, I'm sure they probably weren't aware of a lot of those things, but now that they are, it's great that they get that recognition. It's great. I commend you for anybody that's listening. This guy right here came 14 hours to go to the convention this year. So if there's anyone out there that can top that, please contact us straight from the training ground, because that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great experience. The week was fantastic. I worked with the awards in the awards room, and it was kind of looking at how the back room works, and there's some great people there. They really work hard. so that kids can get recognized. And I think the United Soccer Coaches is a fantastic organization. And one of the great things about it is having a chance to network and meet people. And, we were just in the same session, and I just started talking to you, and you talked to me, and it was good. We shared some stuff together. So it was really great. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you asking me to be on your podcast and having the opportunity to share about what we do over here in the Pacific and worldwide for military kids. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No problem. You're always welcome here. And again, thank you for everything you do in your community, your corner of the world for soccer. I know everyone appreciates that. And I think it's great, sharing that with everyone, getting the word out of what you're doing over there. So it's greatly appreciated. It's great meeting you. And
Same.
We hope to stay in touch. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Visit our partners at TractionSocks.com for performance grip socks created for all athletes. Use the discount code TractionSocks22 right now for savings. Visit our new partners, UnoZero at UnoZero.com, where classic beauty and quality meet modern design and elegance for football boots and more.